Howdy Posse hopefuls, and welcome to the last and final video of the Posse Scholarship process. My name is Zoe Blackburn, and I am a Posse Foundation Scholar at Texas A&M University. And to start off, I just want to say congratulations. Congratulations on making it this far. I always say that no matter what, to any of the students, any of my mentors, to you guys, making it to round 3 is absolutely incredible. And you should be very, very proud of yourself because you have beat out so many people to make it this far. So I just want to start that off with just saying congratulations, congratulations, and congratulations. And so in this video, we're going to break down round 3 all together. And this is more of a personal one-on-one talk. My other videos are more formal and more scripted and things like that. But in this video, I really want to speak personally from one potential Posse Scholar to another and to really think through what this means, because you are at a point now in your journey in high school where you are coming to a very critical point that's going to decide your next 4 years, but not just your next 4 years, the rest of your life. But enough of all of that, let's jump into it. But before we get into the mechanics and the logistics and how round 3 works, I really do want to open with a heart-to-heart conversation about what this means, what happens next, what to look forward to, and really just give you all of the deets and all of the insights into what this means, because a lot's going on in school as you're a senior, and then now you're trying to make a decision about the next 4 years, and it can be a lot. But I want to just walk you through this just to help ease your mind, clear your confusion, maybe make just a little bit more bearable. So to start off, I want to say that if you have not received your round 3 decision yet, do not be dismayed. I just received an email yesterday from the Posse Foundation that said that they are working as fast as they can. They know that the deadline, the November 1st deadline, is right around the corner, and they are still rolling out decisions. So if you have not received one yet, do not be dismayed, do not be discouraged. I am telling you, I just received an email from Posse yesterday saying, hey, we know the November 1st deadline is right around the corner, but we are working as fast as we can, and not all the decisions are coming out yet. It literally said verbatim that Posse employees are still making their decisions, so nothing is final yet. Okay, so I want to start there. But to jump and piggyback off of that a little bit, going into round 3, you're a finalist for a school, and you know that, right? But of course, there's always a chance that you don't get in. And so you may be asking yourself, how do I plan for that? How do I plan for the inevitable? How do I plan for the unknown? How do I plan for, in the event that I don't get the scholarship process, the scholarship altogether, I'm sorry. What does that mean? What should I do? How do I plan and protect myself? I'm going to be very honest. I would apply for other schools, okay? If you are a person who has not received their confirmation yet for being a finalist for a school, like I said, they're still rolling decisions out. However, I personally recommend have your applications on standby, right? You know, as a Posse Scholar, that you are not going to be able, as a potential Posse Scholar, I should say, that you're not going to be able to do early action or early decision for any other school. However, in the event that you do not become a finalist, have your applications already done and already ready to go. Okay, I say that to everyone, to everyone, to everyone, to everyone, to everyone. If you have not received your confirmation yet, have your applications on standby and ready to go, because you don't want to wait until the last minute to get your notification that you weren't a finalist and you're having to race to get an early action, early decision applications. So my biggest advice for those who have not received a decision yet is to have those applications on standby so you are ready to go, whether that decision comes or it doesn't come. Next, if you end up becoming a finalist, congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment. But I'm going to tell you this, apply regular decisions to other schools. When you are a finalist for Posse, you have a 25% to 50% chance of getting into the scholarship program. That is not 90% chance or 100% chance. That's 25 to 50% chance of you actually receiving the scholarship. And what you don't want to happen is you're a finalist, the deadlines for other schools pass by, and you go to your interview and you don't get it. And you're stuck scrambling because you don't know what to do. My always biggest thing is apply early action, which is not bound, and apply regular decision, which is also not bound. Submit those applications. Please, 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 please submit college applications to other universities, even if you get it or you don't get it, because you don't want to be stuck not knowing what to do next, or lost, or it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't get it and I don't know what school I'm going to. My thing is always apply to other schools, because Posse is never guaranteed for anyone. You can be a straight A student, valedictorian, all those things, and Posse is never guaranteed. But moving away from the college stuff, I want to get into a real personal one-on-one talk, okay? When you receive your finalist decision, you're gonna have a choice. You're going to either accept your finalist position or you're not. And I think this is a very important conversation to have with yourself, to have with your family, to just really sit down and think about what this means for you and your future. It's an amazing accomplishment that you become a Posse Foundation finalist. Not everyone does that. Not everyone makes it that far. However, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily the right place for you. And so in these next few days of wondering and asking yourself, is this the right place for me? I think it's really important to figure out, what do you want out of college? Is Posse something you really want, or is it just something you're doing because someone told you to do it, or anything? You need to find out your why, right? I always say that, go back to your why. What is your why? What is your why for your life? What is your why for your career? What is your why for Posse? What is your why for college? And you have to ask yourself, does Posse align with my whys? And does it get me there? And it may not. And you may end up rejecting your finalist offer. And if you get to that point, don't feel discouraged, don't feel dismayed. It's okay. But you really do need to ask yourself, and I stress this to everyone because I have met so many people who have accepted being a Posse finalist, and they actually didn't want it. And then they got it, and they were miserable, and they were stuck, and they didn't know what else to do with themselves because they were going to a university that they really didn't want to go to. They were doing a scholarship program that they didn't really want to go to. It was just like, hey, I signed you up for this, like, go to this interview. And so I think now you really need to ask yourself, do you want this? You need to ask yourself all the questions, right? Like, what is finances going to look like going to this university? I've always been stressing since my very first video, Posse is only tuition. It is not a full ride. So you need to ask yourself, is it worth it, right? I will never forget when I went home and I found a piece of mail and it turns out I got a full ride to another university, and I couldn't go because I had already committed to Posse. So you really need to just really sit and ask yourself, hey, is this what I want to do? Like, what do finances look like? Am I going to be happy here? Am I going to thrive here? Am I going to have a good life here? Does this align with my future, my career plan? And you need to ask yourself all of these questions. And this is why, this video is really just me talking as one Posse scholar to the next, and just please, please, please ask yourself these questions, because I love Posse so much, but it is not the place for everyone. And I love all of you guys so much, even though I don't know any of you. I love you guys so much to where I want you guys to be happy, and Posse may not make you happy, and it may make you happy. I don't know. It's really, you know, up to you. But ask yourself those questions and, you know, see where your heart takes you. Listen to your heart, because honestly, your heart knows a lot, okay? But anyway, if you're still on the fence about like whether or not you want to accept your finalist offer or anything, please feel free to email me about any questions or confusion you may have. Feel free to, you know, say, hey, like I'm struggling. Can we hop on the phone and have a conversation over the phone? I am more than happy to do that. Like I said, I work for y'all. I work for the people. I serve the people, okay? This is not for me. I am not a Posse rep where I'm telling y'all, go Posse, because Posse is not the right fit for everyone, and that is okay. And so if you're saying, hey, Zoe, I'm on the edge, I don't know what I want to do, I'm kind of stuck, reach out to me, and I am more than happy to talk you through it, to help you, and all of those things. In addition to that, you also have a family meeting that Posse puts on, and please go to this. I believe it's mandatory, but if it's not mandatory, please go to this, because in this meeting, they will explain the entire process better than me, okay, better than I can, and they are a direct line for questions and concerns that you have. Of course, you can always reach out to me if you're not comfortable, but go to the meeting, ask your questions, get more knowledge, get more insight into what all is going on. And so, yeah. But now that we're done with our little heart-to-heart talk, just one-to-one, let's get into what round 3 is all about. That's what we're here for. We want to know what round 3 has to offer. And so round 3 is the final and official round of Posse. It is the finalist round. You have made it, and you are typically going to be in a room with about 20 people. It may be 30 or 40, but it's typically going to be 20, 25, 30 finalists, okay? It's never going to be more than 40. And I say that because some colleges take 2 cohorts. So A&M only has 1 cohort with 10 of us. However, universities like William and Mary take 2 cohorts with 10 in each, with a total of 20. So that's why I say, depending on how it is, you could have 20 to 25 if it's just 1 cohort that the university is taking, or you can be in a room with about 40 if that university is willing to take 2 cohorts with about 20 people in it. But in this interview, which is the final and last interview, it will be very small, it will be very intimate, but it's going to operate similarly to round 1. So that same very broad group style work is going to be pretty much the same here in round 3. However, in this round 3, which is like my favorite round of all the rounds, it's going to be a lot bigger as far as presenting. In round 1, typically you're presenting to 1 Posse member, Posse employee, right? And you're just presenting to that 1 person, maybe 2. And in round 2, you're also just one-on-one, you know. But in round 3, they are going to make you present to everyone, okay? Like, everyone. Like, it's not just you and your group and one other Posse member. Like, it's going to be like everyone, literally everyone that you're going to be presenting in front of. So keep that in mind, that you're going to be presenting in front of all the finalists, that you're going to be presenting in front of all the Posse staff, and that you're going to be presenting in front of college reps. So keep that in mind. The college will be present. Their admissions office will be present. Some of their professors may be present. Whoever they want may be present. Well, not maybe, they will be present in the room, because not only does Posse make decisions, but the colleges make the decisions as well. So admissions will be there, professors will be there, and they will be watching you and taking notes and trying to see who they want on their campus. And so like I said earlier, some important things to consider in this is, one, are you the right fit for this college and for Posse? Everyone is different, okay? And this is why I say you need to have a real, honest to God conversation with yourself, because you may not be the right fit and you think that you are, right? Posse is great, don't get me wrong, but not everyone is made for it. And then you need to ask yourself, are you a right fit for the college? Is the college going to cater itself to you and make you have a lifestyle where you can thrive and be successful and be happy? And another thing to consider is, being a right fit, but also is the college and is Posse a right fit for you? Because in any relationship, it is transactional. You give, but you also receive. So are you the right fit, and are they also a right fit for you? And so I really just, and I'll harp on this throughout the entire video, but please, please, please be honest with yourself. Ask yourself questions. Don't rush into a decision. This is one of the most important decisions that you are going to make in your life, whether to be a Posse finalist and go through with it or not. Because the moment that you say, yes, I accept my finalist position, you are telling them that in the event that you are accepted as a Posse Scholar, that you are committing fully to that university. So please just talk with yourself, talk with your parents, and make sure that this is something that you're truly, truly, truly okay with. But now that we've talked about what round 3 is all about, let's talk about what happens before you even go into the round 3 interview. Similar to round 2, there are some things that need to be done and taken care of and handled for proper processing. To start off, you have to accept your finalist position. You need to decide if you are going to reject your finalist position or if you are going to accept it. Next, you have I believe, back in my day, which was a year ago, that it's mandatory to attend the family and friends meeting, where Posse is going to go over everything that you need to know, any questions that you may have. So you need to make sure that you go to that meeting and that you ask your questions. Next, you will have a application review. Listen, Linda. Do not submit your application to the college that you are a finalist for, because Posse is on their own application timeline, and you will have a one-on-one appointment with you and another Posse staff member to review your college application before you submit it. Now, what if you're saying, hey, the application deadline is November 1st, and my application review interview is November 3rd. What happens? What do I do? Posse has a special admissions process that is separate from the general admissions process. So even if the deadline says for early decision is November 1st, it does not apply to you, okay? It does not. Posse is on its own special timeline. If you have your application review interview November 2nd, November 3rd, and the deadline is November 1st, it is okay. Don't stress over it, but please, please, please do not submit your application before your application review. Posse needs to make sure that your application is perfect and ready to go. Next, once you accept your finalist position, you'll be asked to fill out some documents. One is your basic information, like where you're from, what school you go to, contact information, things like that. And then they will also ask you for agreements. They're going to ask you to sign an early decision agreement to that university, saying that you will go to that university. They will have you sign a separate contract to them, saying that you are agreeing to this interview, that you are going to show up, that you are going to be an actual participant for Posse. And then next, they're going to ask you to sign the Posse database form. And so what this is that I think this is one of the very, very unique things about Posse is they have a Posse database, which basically means if you're accepted into that school or not, your name can go into this database where other colleges can find you and essentially recruit you. And so even if you aren't a Posse Scholar in the end, you still have the chance and the opportunity to be recognized and seen by other colleges and universities. And so after you fill out all those forms, they're going to ask you to do a little bit of an online form. And so the way that this works is that they asked me for my general information, they asked me for like my t-shirt size, and then they asked me a few questions. They asked me a few questions about like, what are 2 key qualities about you? They asked me questions like, what's your favorite quote and why? And so I'm not exactly sure if they're still doing this or why they do this, but they might, now this is me, they may have changed it, but they may also send you like a Google form or like a Microsoft form to fill out where they'll ask you these basic questions and then also ask you some additional questions about your qualities, your favorite quotes, just a little bit more of like tell me about yourself information. And so just as a quick recap, you're going to have to fill out your finalist form of whether or not you want to be a finalist. You're going to have to attend your family and friends meeting. You're going to have your application review interview. And you're going to have to fill out some forms, some legal forms, just agreeing to go to the university. And then you're going to have to fill out a tell me about yourself form where they're going to ask you just some more additional information. All right, now that we've gotten into what is round 3, what you need to know before going into round 3 and all the forms, let's get into the meat. Okay, let's get into what we all came here for. What is the structure of round 3? Well, to start off, you're going to have what Posse always does. It's welcome, and they love icebreakers. So in this welcome, you're going to play some few icebreakers just to calm the mood. They're going to ask you some questions. You might play a little bit of some games. These games are not being watched and monitored. These icebreakers are not being watched and monitored and judged. However, like I have stressed from round 1, participate, because even though it's not officially being judged, people notice. Okay, like people notice when you participate and when you don't participate. People notice when you are actively engaging. But in addition to that, it calms your nerves. It makes you feel more calm and ready to go into the interview. And so I always stress, like, please participate. Don't just sit there and like not want to, do anything. Don't keep the ice, okay? Break the ice. Like, that's the whole point, is to break the ice. So please participate. Next, you will have a college info sessions. So the admissions counselors may be there, admissions officers may be there, professors may be there. I had a bio professor, okay, in my interview, which was crazy. But they will give you a little info session. They will tell you about what programs they have. They will tell you more about the studies and opportunities they have to offer. They will answer some questions about everything the university has to offer, what the day-to-day of a student's life looks like, what you can expect from the university, all those things, okay? Now, you may have a private interview with college reps. I have heard some conflicting things where there have been opportunities for a student to have either a closed and smaller interview or a one-on-one interview with a college rep. Keep in mind, this is very rare that this happens, but you may have a one-on-one interview with the college rep. And so in this, I really want to ask you guys to ask some questions to the college reps, right? Like, get to ask them, like, you know, what is your school like? What are some good qualities? What are some negatives, right? Like, what would you recommend for students who want to succeed at your school? And then I would even say, don't get cocky with it, but ask them, like, what sets your school apart? Like, why should I choose your school versus other schools, you know? And don't be cocky with it, but truly, like, ask, like, what does your school have to offer? What makes it so special that other schools don't have to offer? And to me, it gets them like, oh, like, this girl is, like, really, like, into this school. Like, she wants to know, like, she's smart. She's weighing her options. And so I think it's really, really important. And in addition to asking those very general and broad questions, do research on the school, okay? Like, do research on the school. If you have the opportunity to be interviewed or even just ask questions to the college rep, do research on the school and be very specific in your questions. Like, ask them, you know, hey, you have this program at your university and I'm really interested in this program. You know, do you know more about it? Do you have any advice or any tips on how to get in? Do you have any contacts that I can get in touch with to learn more about this program and do an interview and things like that? Do your research on these universities. You should have already done your research before round 2, but if you didn't do your research now, okay? Universities love when students love their school and they love to talk about their school. So do research and ask them, like, hey, you know, like, what is this? You know, like, you have this amazing program and I really want to join, or you have this club, or you have this organization that I'm so interested in, or you have this job position for students that I'm really interested in. You know, could you tell me more about that? Do you have contacts that I can get in touch with? And it really, really shows that you are interested in the university. It shows that you care about the university, and it makes you stand out. Now, after this college info session, you will have your group activities or your presentations. These presentations are short and long. And I know that's kind of like contradicting each other, but I really do think, like, it makes sense, okay? I'll list off 2 activities that we did. The first one was our group presentation, and this presentation was, you're given a scenario. My scenario was, at this college, we're having issues with volunteering, and some students are saying that they don't have time to volunteer, yada, yada, yada. What are some changes, or how would you address the situation? And our solution was, hey, instead of requiring them to take and find hours on their own, how about we build it into the curriculum where it's already built into their schedules and their lives to go to the volunteer centers and volunteer and do volunteer hours and things like that. And the next activity that we did was, what was it? It was facilitating a discussion. So very, very similar to round 1. We had topics and we had to facilitate discussions. And so it's going to be your political, social, economic discussions that you must facilitate in the group. And yeah. And in the presentation, we would work in a small group, very similar to round 1, where it'd be a group of maybe 5 people, and you would work and make a presentation and then you would present it to everyone, not just the one Posse staff member, not just the one college rep. You have to go in front of everyone and present. This is why I say it's very short, but it's very long, because you have to interview in front of everyone. Everyone has to present in front of everyone, okay? And so it's a very long but very short process, if that makes sense. Now, the facilitating a discussion, it's just within your group of like 5 to 6 people, where typically 1 or 2 Posse staff members and 1 or 2 college reps will be present. Some college reps will be very limited, and in that case, they'll jump in and out of breakout rooms. It just depends on how it works. And then after that's over, you'll have some downtime or some free time where you'll be able to ask college reps questions. You'll typically have a Q&A session. So this is separate from an interview with the college reps. This is separate from a college info session. After you're done working on your presentation or facilitating a group discussion, you'll be able to have some free time while other groups are finishing up to ask college reps questions. Ask the questions. Always ask a question. I did not ask any questions, but I think it's very important to still just ask a question to put yourself out there and make yourself memorable. And then after you're done with all of that, the interview is over. It's very similar to round 1, where it is going to be a bit of a 3-hour-long interview, but you're not doing a lot. In round 1, you did multiple activities and multiple presentations. In round 3, you're only doing about 2 activities. It's not, very energy consuming. However, the reason why it's so long is because everyone has to present in front of everyone that's present, and all the college reps and all the finalists and all the staff members. So it does take a little bit longer than it usually should. But I also want to stress that breaks will be given during the interview, so please do not freak out. Have snacks on standby. Do not be like me, who did not have any food, and I literally starved. I starved. When I tell you I starved, my interview was at 5. I ate lunch at 12, so I hadn't eaten anything, and it was 5 o'clock, and my interview was from 5 to 7 or 5 to 8, and during the breaks I was so hungry because I hadn't eaten anything all day long. So don't be like me, and make sure you have breaks and food on standby. But now that we've gone into how the interview is going to work and break down, let's get into how to actually prepare for the interview. So number 1, like I've stressed from the beginning, is do your research. Do your research on the school, whatever program, whatever major, whatever opportunities, whatever, additional scholarships, different programs they have to offer that really interest you. Do research on that. What are their core values? What do they stand for? What are their beliefs? What are their slogans? Things like that. For example, Texas A&M is very, very high on their core values and their morals. We have here what's called RELAs: respect, excellence, leadership, loyalty, integrity, and selfless service. And so with RELAs, it's very, 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 very important to this university. And it's one of our very key points that makes us so unique, right? And so that's a very key part of A&M. So look at your university and see what is that very key part to them that separates them from other universities, and ask questions about that. Explore that. This is really your opportunity, your chance to show these people you're not doing that just for the scholarship, you're doing it because you actually care about this university. Next is practice your responses. Always, 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 always practice your responses. Now, you can't practice what you're going to present because you don't know what you're going to say or what the presentation is going to be about. But still practice speaking. Still practice articulating your words and going through the motions. I think one of the reasons why people struggle so much in public speaking is because when you're in a normal conversation, you're going back and forth, you're not really listening to your voice, right? Like you're focused on that other person and what they have to say. When it comes to public speaking and you're presenting, it's only your voice. No one else is talking. And the thing is that people have not really focused and listened on their voice. And so because of that, they're like, oh my goodness. So they're listening to their voice and they're trying to speak and they're trying to think of what to say next. And it becomes very, very difficult to do all of those things at the same time. And so practice doing fake presentations if you need to. When it comes to the idea of facilitating a discussion, y'all, use AI to work for you. Say, hey, ChatGPT, I have this presentation coming up, okay? And one of the activities, hey chat, I have an interview coming up, my bad. And one of the activities is to facilitate a discussion. Make some prompts that are political, social, and economic based, and practice your response to the prompts that it gives you. And it really does help so much when it comes to it. Just hearing yourself talk, hearing yourself out loud. What does it feel like to speak and to think of what to say next, and going through all emotions? What does that feel like? And that way, when it comes to the day of doing the interview and doing your presentations, you're not shocked and like left out to dry. Next is dress professionally. First impressions are always key. Many people are like, well, you don't judge a book by its cover. But in truth be told, human nature, that's what we do. We assume and we make assumptions based off of what is presented to us, even if it might not be the truth, but we perceive it as the truth. And so you need to make sure that when you show up, you are looking your best, you are smelling your best, you are looking confident and ready to go, because first impressions matter so much. And you're not just interviewing with Posse anymore. Like, Posse has been with you from round one and round two, but listen, you're having the actual college in this interview with you. Like, this is not the time to play games. This is not the time to just do la-da-da. I know sometimes Posse is more relaxed or anything like that, and you sort of were relaxed in round one and round two. Listen, this is not the time to be relaxed. This is the time to dress up, dress professionally. This is not the time to do business casualty or anything. This is the time to actually be professional and be dressed and be ready to go. And so, as I was saying earlier in doing your research, you also want to make sure that you show real intent for this university, not just the scholarship. Of course, the scholarship is great. Of course, the scholarship sounds amazing, but these universities know that already. And so they're looking for students who aren't just in it for the money. Yeah, the money is great, but they're looking for students just like any other regular admissions process who is going to contribute to their university, who's going to make their university better, who's going to take their university to the next level, who's going to make their university more prestigious. And so it is almost like a regular admissions process, just with a scholarship attached to it. And so I think it's really, really important that you show them that, hey, like, I love this scholarship, but you know what? I love your school and I really want to go. Next is be honest about your goals and your passion, and don't be afraid to market yourself. That's all of this, which is marketing. Don't ever be afraid to market yourself and to put yourself out there. Show them your accomplishments and what you have done. Show them your goals and your fire and your passion, because that's what people love to see. I don't think it's wrong to market yourself and show them how much of an incredible person, incredible student you are, because at the end of the day, the other 20 to 40 people who are in your room, even though you're going to be presenting together and working together and facilitating a discussion all those things. And even though there's 10 to 20 spots, that's still your competition. The person in your group that you're working with on your presentation, at the end of the day, that's your competition. And so you need to make sure that you are working as a team and supporting, but you also need to make sure that in the midst of that, you're not leaving yourself out, that you're not lowering yourself, that you're still saying, hey, yeah, you know, I'm a team player. I am putting myself out there. I am working, I'm supporting others. But at the end of the day, I'm going to market myself to the best of my ability and put myself out there and show that I am deserving of this program. And lastly, I would say reaffirm your readiness for leadership and a learner. Posse is so focused on growth and learning and leadership. And so I think in all of this, when it comes to facilitating a discussion, when it comes to asking questions, you really need to affirm being a leader, being a learner, growing, and things like that, because that's what really Posse looks for, but also what universities look for. Well, now that we've gone through everything in the video, let's get into what happens next. You have completed your round 3 interview and you're just waiting. And so I think for this, I'm just going to share my own personal story about my round 3 experience and my notification of how I actually found out that I was a Posse Scholar. And so it all started back in December of 2024. It was my choir concert, and my interview ended at around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and it was my choir concert. So I finished up my interview, I got dressed, I went to the auditorium, and as I was sitting and waiting to sing, I all of a sudden got a text from one of the Posse staff members, and they said, hey Zoe, can you jump back into the Zoom, because we would like to ask you a few more questions. And so the way that it was presented to us during our round 3, in the end, they were like, hey, after we get off, we may ask you to hop back on the Zoom just to ask you some more questions, yada, yada, yada. Like, that's what they said. And so I was in the auditorium waiting, and they texted me, and they were like, hey, Zoe, could you hop back onto the Zoom, the interview Zoom, and we just want to ask you some more questions. It's just going to be super quick. And so I'm going to be very honest. Like, I was stressing out. I was like, why me? Like, what more could they want from me? Like, I have put myself out there. I have answered all of these questions. I have participated. I have done so much work. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm having to put on this long dress and all this makeup and do my hair and get ready for this concert. And I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And they want to ask me more questions. Also, keep in mind, I hadn't eaten since 12, and so it was literally 8, almost 9 o'clock, and I had not eaten any food, and so I was struggling. Okay, I was really, truly struggling. Like, honestly struggling at this point. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna get back onto the Zoom. And so I left out of the auditorium right as I was about to go on stage and sing. And I logged back onto the Zoom, and I swear sitting in that Zoom felt like an eternity. But I was in the waiting room for maybe like 5 minutes, but I swear that 5 minutes in the waiting room felt like a literal hour. But anyway, I finally get into the Zoom, and it is just 3 Posse staff members and 2 of the college admissions people and the bio professor that I was talking about earlier. It was so random that a bio professor was in there. But anyway, a professor was in there. And the professor was like, hey, Zoe, like, you talked about, you know, you being the only child for a very long time, and, you know, then you having a big age gap between you and your younger sister. I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, I know you come from a small family, but how would you like to be in a big family of Texas A&M University with over 70,000 students? And I was like, I hadn't fully processed what they said, but I was like, yeah, I would love to be in a big family of 70,000 people, whatever. And he was like, great, because we would love to have you at Texas A&M University as a Posse Foundation Scholar. And it took me out, like, literally, like, took me out. I was like, what? And truthfully, I hadn't processed it yet. And I was like, oh my goodness, thank you. And I got off the Zoom call and I was ecstatic. And I ran out of that Zoom call and I sung that night the best that I could. And it was absolutely incredible. So yes, you being notified that you're a Posse Scholar can happen the same day as your interview. Like, it's not different. It's very different from round 1 and round 2 where you're waiting weeks and weeks and weeks. But round 3, like, they made their decision in like 30-45 minutes. Like, it wasn't even a full hour after my interview that they asked me to get back on the Zoom, and they told me, like, they deliberated and made their decisions in less than an hour. And so I don't know, that may happen to you. However, I want to give a disclaimer. Just because you don't get a phone call that night does not mean that you did not make it. Every school operates differently. My school, it only took them 45 minutes to make the decisions. Other schools went a few days and maybe even a few weeks to make their decisions. And so I really do say, like, if you don't get a phone call, because there's always a 50% chance, right? Like, one of the people in my Posse cohort, she literally, they forgot to text her. They were supposed to text her last night. The text didn't go through, and so they texted her the day after the interview and told her. And so, like I said, it's a 50-50 chance. If you don't get a phone call that night, it doesn't mean that you didn't get it. Every school operates differently. But there is a chance that the day of your interview, you will get the phone call that you are a Posse Foundation Scholar, which I think is so cool. And so if you become a Posse Foundation Scholar, it's an incredible opportunity. You'll have this little ceremony, yada, yada, yada. And it's great. But let's talk about what happens if you don't become a Posse Foundation Scholar. If you don't become a Posse Foundation Scholar and you sign that form that you wanted to go into the Posse database, you can apply to other colleges, and colleges might see your name in the Posse database and choose you based off of that, based off of seeing that you were a Posse finalist. And so this is why I say have backup colleges ready to go, because, and so this goes for everyone. Like, if you are a finalist, apply early action and regular decision to other universities, because those are not legally bounded or anything like that. Like, it's okay to, like, go ahead and apply to other schools. It doesn't count you out. Posse doesn't know or anything. And so if you are not chosen for that school as a Posse Foundation Scholar, please don't become discouraged. Please don't think less of yourself. Please do not think that you are not good enough. Please do not tie your worth to it. Because I'm going to be very honest, I have been up against friends who were my competition. We went to the same school, but we were all competing for Texas A&M University, and they're my competition. And when I tell you that finding out that they got rejected and I got in was absolutely shocking to me, because in my mind, I considered them on such a higher level than me. And so I think it really just goes to show that your worth and who you are is not directly tied to this opportunity. Like I said, if you don't get it, it doesn't mean you're not a great student. It doesn't mean that you're not a hard worker or anything like it. It wasn't your opportunity, it wasn't your chance. But please, 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 please don't become discouraged. Like, it's December. Like, and you apply to other schools, like, you're still gonna have an amazing opportunity to go to an amazing school and things like that. A friend of mine who didn't get into Posse is so successful and is doing an amazing job at her university, and she ended up getting pretty much a full ride at that university. And so I'm telling you, like, don't become discouraged. It's not the end of the road, or anything like that. And so I really, really just urge you guys to just stay positive. And, you know, Posse is great. I love being a Posse Scholar, but my worth and my value is not tied to the fact that I'm a Posse Scholar. I am a great person and a great student with or without it. And so I hope that through this journey, you have learned more about yourself. I told myself at the end, right before I went into my round 3 interview, I said, Zoe, even if we don't get this, I am so incredibly proud of ourselves for making it this far, for learning and discovering so much about ourselves, for growing, for powering through in so many ways that we were not able to before. And so I really just urge you that no matter what happens, whether you're a Posse Scholar or you're not, please be so proud of yourself. Beating out thousands and thousands of students to become a finalist does not happen to everyone. And so I really, really just urge you to be so proud of yourself for making it this far. And go into that interview and be at peace with everything. And tell yourself, listen, whether or not we get this, I am so proud of you, because you have worked so hard for the past 4 years in high school. You have worked so hard in writing the essays and doing the applications and doing the scholarships and doing this and that. And on top of that, being a full-time student. You know, that's what people don't realize is you're applying to college, you're applying to scholarships, and you're doing all these interviews while being a student all at the same time, and doing dual credit and doing APs and doing honors and doing clubs and doing all these things still in high school. And I want to tell you that that takes so much, and that you should be incredibly, incredibly, incredibly proud of yourself no matter the outcome. And so I really just hope that you carry this. And I was telling one of my mentees the other day, was you will end up exactly where you need to be. It's so funny how we go through life and we do things and we take on journeys that we would have never wanted to go on. And we do things that we have always swore that we would never do. But somehow, some way, it was the very, very thing we needed to be successful and to be accomplished and to do all of that. And so I really hope that as you go into this interview, you go in with peace of mind to know that you have worked so hard and that you're an incredible person, and that no matter what happens, you will be exactly where you need to be in the end of all of this. Well, that is all that I have for you today, and I want to just thank you so much for supporting me and tuning in for all the videos. Like, I have never been a YouTuber, nor was like my plan to ever become one. Like, you guys don't know, but this literally started because someone from my high school was like, hey, like, I have no idea what this Posse Foundation is like, and you've gone through it, so can you like show me, like, can you show me like what you did and like your tips and your tricks and how it works and everything like that? And I was like, sure, yeah, I guess, like, yeah, I'll record a video and like post it online. And just seeing how it has grown to this, it's just absolutely incredible. So I want to thank you guys so much for supporting me along the way. This is not the last video, okay? I will get into more about Posse after that, and what the whole journey is like in my experience now as a Posse Scholar and all those incredible things. But I just want to say thank you for tuning in every video, being patient with me as I've been, you know, going through my own struggles and my own transitions, and it's been taking a minute to record videos and upload them and all those things. But thank you guys so much for your support and for your patience, because it means the world to me. if you would like to connect with me. Listen, y'all, my Posse prep sessions are still open, okay? Like, they're still open. So if you are saying, hey, I am struggling, I need to talk to you, I need to work this out with you, like, I need to get into this, I need to, like, I'm struggling to figure out if I want to be a Posse Scholar or not, or be a finalist or not, like, if you need that, if you want to go over what round 3 is like, I am more than welcome. I will leave the description below. You just fill out the Google form, and I am more than happy to schedule a Zoom meeting with you to talk about any of your concerns. You can also follow me on Instagram at IamZoeGirl_, and you can also email me at IamZoeGirl@gmail.com. Please feel free to reach out. Like I said, I work for you guys. I do this for you. Like, I have no other reason or other purpose. Like, I'm not sponsored. I don't get paid by Posse or anything to do this. So if you guys are struggling, if you need help, if you just need someone to talk to, like, feel free to reach out to me. We can hop on the phone and just talk, like, whatever you need. I am here for you. But I will see you in the next video. Thank you guys so much. Thanks, and gig 'em.